Hey guys, welcome back to another King Arthur Legends Rise video. Today we're going to be talking about some of the rare champions that are absolutely game-changing for me. The best rares for me. There's going to be no theory crafting, no this rare is probably good. It's the ones that I use regularly that are amazing. Yes, there's plenty of other amazing ones, but I'm just going to talk about the ones that are used regularly on the top stages for my account. So to set the stage, what a rare is, well, first off, this video is sponsored by Netmarble. Big thank you to them, as well as to you guys for supporting this channel and giving me opportunities to do this. If you're interested in downloading the game, click the link down below and go ahead and check it out. Now, in King Arthur, the normal summons are basically mystery shards. So you have rares, uncommons, and commons. The special summons, I'd say, are more comparable to ancient shards, though they're a little bit better than ancients. There's a almost a 1.67% chance to get a legendary, 17% chance to get a rare, and then 81% chance to get an uncommon. You'll notice there's no epics in this game. I would say the rares in King Arthur are more comparable to the epics inside of Raid than the rares inside of Raid. Yeah, there's some good rares in Raid, but to be honest, the epics are where your game's actually going to be affected typically. And in King Arthur, the rares are definitely game-changing. So in my Gorgos, Stage 10, which if you've never played King Arthur, Gorgos is your experience and gold farming dungeon. You don't have to do like campaign to level up your champions. You're going to be farming gold and experience potions to level your champion. So we don't need food champions per se. I want to showcase a run on stage 10 of Gorgos using my 3 rares that I actually use regularly. So in this team, we have Anguish, whose sole job is to place some dots. Now, dots are essentially debuffs, but they're a little more nuanced. So in this game, your chill is similar to like your poisons or HP burn in Raid, but the damage over time effect, so the enemy max HP being affected, just like a poison or HP burn, is not the only thing that's happening from these dots. For example, a chill is also going to lower their attack speed by 5%. A bleed, which Rosier is going to place in just a moment, is, well, she's hopefully going to place. She actually didn't place it, unfortunately, but that's going to increase their damage taken by, I believe, 2%. We'll see in just a moment. Hopefully we make it through this fine. There we go. We have a bleed and a chill effect placed. Bleed, damage taken, increased by 2%. Now you'll notice that all these dots are only for 1 turn duration. That's unfortunate. The boss takes 1 turn, the dot falls off. That's where Rosier comes in. So Rosier is going to come in and she's going to extend these dot durations. As you can imagine, in Raid, if you had a 1 turn poison, it's going to do good damage, but it's nowhere near as good as 2 turns is going to do, especially if you can continue extending those. It's kind of like bringing in an extra Anguish, having Rosier, or really any dot extending champion in the team, because now instead of the dot being up and falling off, it's going to stay up for 1 more turn. So Rosier does the extension. Isolde is healing a little bit, also placing a chill from her skill 1, and then Tshirt is cleansing these burns from everybody. So all very useful and impactful champions. And as Rosier extends these durations, well, next turn, we're going to have more chills placed. More chances for Rosier to extend. Though, to be fair, the boss is going to cleanse in just a little bit and just remove them. We only had the bleed placed there, unfortunately, so we didn't get much. I believe he cleanses right after this effect, or very, very soon. So we may not get the full utility, but you'll see that if she extends this, we're just going to have a lot of debuffs lined up. Like, look at this. We're getting some huge dots on this boss that's going to kill him this turn. He takes a turn, he's dead. But if we didn't have Rosier extending these, it wouldn't be nearly as impactful. Now, we'll talk about Chivalry in just a moment because that is very relevant to this as well. If you don't have Chivalry on these champions, which is essentially the dupe system in this game, then they're not going to be as effective. But it's not as difficult as it is in, say, Raid, for example. Though, there is more potential. Like, you have 1 through 10, so essentially 10 dupes. We'll get into that in just a moment. So in this fight, the damage dealt, Anguish did a ton of damage, Rosier did great damage. She was extending stuff, so I'd give her more credit than what's actually being given here, but they're all super useful champions. So if we come in here and take a look at these champions, each one of these rares, there's more rares that I use regularly, but these 3 specifically. Let's actually go in here to the restricted area, we'll go to the Gorgos, and then we'll go to champions. This way all the champions are just in the front of the line. So with Anguish, you are going to want to get his Chivalry up. Now in this game, I said it's kind of like the dupe system. But in this game, it's not just copies of the champion. He's already at 10, so I can't show you. But Isolde, for example. when you're going through the story, the adventure, whatever you're going through, there's often chances to get these rare memory stones. These are essentially dupes that you can use for any champion. It takes 30 to get them up to the next rank of chivalry. Now, typically at 3 and 8 is where the biggest changes happen. For Anguish, for example, at 3, we're getting attack increase. Not that significant. At 8, however, you're getting a chance to apply bleed. And when you pair this with Rosier, that is significant. For chivalry specifically, 3 is upon receiving a dot, grant self-attack speed increase. That's cool. However, on 8 is where things become very interesting. Hook of Death enhances fresh crimson blood, which is, when attacking, chance of inflicting bleed on a target for 1 turn, to now it's going to be Blood Frenzy. So Blood Frenzy, if the target has bleed, which remember, Anguish is placing at Chivalry 8, increases the duration of all dot effects inflicted on enemies by 1 turn. So that Bloody Frenzy that was mentioned is on her passive, which says when using skill 3, gain Bloody Frenzy. Well, it's actually called Hook of Death. So whenever she's using that skill 3, she's going to then be having a chance to increase the duration of all dots by 1 turn, which is massive. Now, if we get this booked up, it could boost it to an extra turn, which then is even crazier. So number of Bloody Frenzy turns plus an extra 1, which then is absolutely amazing. So hopefully we eventually get there, but for now, I'm not even worried about it. This is perfectly fine. And I do use her Frost Relic, typically, because on Gorgos, she is essentially strong affinity. If I use her other relic, it's going to be weak affinity. So this is the champions I use in Gorgos. Anguish, placing a bunch of dots. We have Rosier extending those dots. So the other rare in the team is Isolde. Now, Isolde is there for 2 reasons. Extra dots, but also to heal. So if we look at her relic, the skill 1, it has a chance of placing chill for 1 turn. Awesome. If we extend it, it's doubly as effective, essentially. So if we take a look at Isolde's rank 1 chivalry, when using skill 1, heals ally with the lowest HP by 7% of Isolde's max HP. Not a massive heal, but it's a decent enough heal where I throw her in. Now, she actually does have a chance to increase the duration of dots when using her skill 3, but it is on 3-turn cooldown. So since her skill 3 is going to cost 3 vigor, I decided to not use that. It's not really worth that vigor cost whenever Rosier is going to continue doing it, because you can't just use it once and then not use it again. She's going to keep using it in that cooldown. I just don't really love that. But you could do that. If you just had her, you could definitely use this skill and extend those dot durations. I can try it out, and it'll probably still work. But these are the champions. These are the 3 rares that I use for Gorgos specifically. Now, these rares are absolutely amazing, and they're definitely going to be useful for you, but it's not necessarily the rares that I would take up initially. The rare you're probably going to see recommended the most is K. This rare is awesome and probably the one you'll see talked about the most. So the reason why she is so cool, her skill 1 attacks 1 enemy 5 times, which the Pinveed is kind of like the Fire Knight, so you want to break the shield and get through it. So this 5-time hitter is very helpful, but her skill 2 attacks 4 times. Last hit grants critical strike increase, costs 2 vigor, does some good damage, and then her skill 3 is an AoE quad hitting skill. The last 2 hits deal additional damage if the target is below 30% HP. All of these do good damage. I'm using the skill 1 typically for her and Pinveed, but I'm going to try using the skill 2 plus the skill 1. The skill 2 does a bit more damage as far as I'm aware, but the skill 1 is perfectly fine to use by itself as well, because it is going to help break the shield a little bit faster. Now, she is in her default weapon, I believe, which is fine for me. It's not caused any issues whatsoever. You could change it up, of course, experiment with different things, but I just went with the highest invested weapon, which just gives her more stats, essentially. So she's going to come in with that A2 skill, and then Bedivere is going to come in with some big, hard-hitting effects, his A2. He's the hardest-hitting champion in the game, which, obviously, if you're pushing this, you may not have him, which is fine. You can use other champions, do a lower stage, but the focus of this is the rare champion K, as well as the free champions Tristan and Morgan on Pinveed Stage 10. It's very accessible. Takes a little while to actually push up to this point to do this, but Morgan is constantly pushing back the turn meter. Bedivere is sinking in tons of damage. If you don't have Bedivere, just use a different damage dealer. It's not going to be a huge deal. It'll be a little bit slower. You may need better gear on the other champions, but you should still be able to push through and finish it out. Now, Kay put up some pretty decent damage as well. Push back some more turn meter. Tristan comes in. Bedivere goes ahead and finishes off the boss. Not 100% consistent, but that's okay. Remember, in King Arthur, even if you fail, you lose any stamina. You only lose stamina if you succeed. So as far as the damage dealt, of course, Bedivere is putting up a lot more damage than Kay, But it's not only her damage. She does do good damage, and if she's your only damage dealer, you can sink better gear into her, but she's also helping break the boar's shield. She's one of the most used champions in this fight specifically. I'll go ahead and show you guys the breakdown. So K is right here. It's a rare champion. Everybody else is legendary. K is the only rare on this list. Look at Gorgos. I can almost guarantee Anguish is going to be on here. Yeah, Anguish, Tshirt, Rosier. All the rare champions that I actually use in my team, including a sold, is on this list. Now, when you look at Frozen Plains, there may be some rares as well. Turin, another rare, absolutely amazing. And Sarah, another rare. So there are rares being used in the most popularly in these teams. Then we have the Cat boss, which is the most difficult boss, and there's no rares being shown here, unfortunately. But if we look at Turin, this is a rare who I used to use a lot of, but I don't use as much anymore. Before we look at Turin, I want to show you the builds on all the rares that I actually use, and then we'll take a look at Turin in case you're looking for a good healer. Matter of fact, I actually reset Turin a while back. I invested in Turin again, apparently, but I need to start investing in her more. Now, with that said, let's see how the rares that I do use are built. We have K. She is in crit and attack set. Honestly, her stats are not great. We could use with some more damage, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you look at her attack compared to Bedivir's attack, you can see who the better built champion is for sure. I mean, he's 6-star blessing, 4,000 attack. K is not 6-star blessing, 6-star awakening, 4K attack. K is 2,300 attack with 3-star, I believe, awakening. Sorry, 4-star. So we have 6 stars to get to. I need to farm more of this dungeon, actually push her up all the way, which I think it's actually open today. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more of that. I'll get her pushed up, make her even better. Rares are obviously easier to invest in than legendaries. Skills, everything. So that's K. If we look at Anguish, the only thing I'm focused on him is having plenty of accuracy, having good speed, and really just surviving. So his equipment is Vigor plus accuracy. Vigor helps me have more charges of Vigor, which is shared across the team to use higher quality skills. So we have effect accuracy at 53%. I could definitely boost this and make him perform a little bit better. But Vigor plus accuracy for him. Speed is okay, just speed tune with my team appropriately. We have Rosier in a critical strike set, which is broken Vigor set apparently. Not for sure what's going on there and why I have the Vigor set not fully equipped. That is definitely not correct. So now I have Vigor plus critical. Critical is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for accuracy. But I don't have enough accuracy pieces apparently to make it make sense. So this is what we're going with. Matter of fact, she probably needs to be rebuilt. But maybe these boots were like extra speed or something. It may have been an extra attack speed that changed the way the fight actually played out. So I may have to revisit this. But ideally, Vigor plus accuracy, similar build to Anguish, just a little bit slower than him. So in this example, Anguish was, let's see, 156, and then she is 142. Maybe too slow now, but either way, just have her in Vigor plus accuracy, and she's going to be fine. Give him some HP if you can. Her Awakening, Awakening is only 4-star. Anguish is also 4-star. So you can see that I push them up to 4-star. Once it gets to the golden statues, I kind of just chill out on them, basically. Though they definitely get more value the higher they go, and they can wear the different keepsakes, essentially. The bottom row accessories. Now, with Rosier, you already saw her. Isolde is basically effect accuracy. We have Vigor. If you don't know what to put on a champion, or if the champion's just there to kind of support the team or place dots, Vigor is an incredible set. You want a few champions with Vigor on your team, but she's 146. Not a great effect accuracy, honestly. Could definitely use with some more, but she's just there for a little extra healing. I honestly could probably drop her and be fine. And then we have Turin and Sarah. Turin is one who I've actually used. Sarah is also a fantastic rare. I don't want to make this video extremely long, so I'm not going to go into these two too much, but Turin is one that I would definitely invest in. Great heals, great effects when it's night. Morgan also has great effects when it's night as well. Both of these champions you're going to use a lot. I actually need to level my Turin up and get her into more content. She's a champion who I've neglected for a little while, but I will be pushing her very soon. But those are the rares that I use every single day in content. K is probably going to be the first one you take up, with Anguish being a very close second. Having dots placed on bosses is just extremely helpful. And then Rosier, if you pull her, is incredibly useful. especially if you can get her up to Chivalry 8. That's where it really changes a lot. Anguish's Chivalry 8, I'd say, is huge, very, very impactful, and so is Rosier's. Both of them have extremely useful Chivalry 8s. Honestly, Kay, Anguish, Rosier, all three of these, super valuable Chivalry 8s. And Chivalry is not as difficult as you may think to actually get. I mean, we have the Adventure Mode, which is going to give you some pretty good rare memory stones. We have 30 right there. We have more from 30 right here from a stage that I haven't complete all the way. And then when you're going through the regular story, you're going to pick up some as well. So you're going to get a lot of them just as you're progressing through the game in general. I need to go back and actually 3-star all these areas because there's a lot of rewards that I'm just missing out on at the moment. And of course, these rewards are more impactful the earlier in the game you are and become, I'm sure, less impactful later on. Actually, a free legendary hero summon. I need to pick that up as well. So I do need to work on that. But that is the rares that I use all the time. I believe they're OP. They're insane. They're extremely useful. And if you're a new player to King Arthur Legends Rise, then definitely keep an eye on those rares and double check and maybe reconsider investing in the other rares before you understand which one's going to have the most benefit to you and your team. Kay, Anguish, Rosier are the three that I use the most by far. So guys, if you want to check out King Arthur Legends Rise, click the link down below. Big thank you again to Netmarble for sponsoring today's video. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.